This video has been created as a guide, along with the Hydrocam catalog, to assure you are designing into your die the correct Hydrocam system to suit your needs. Another powerful tool to help with your design is ReadyCAD 3D. ReadyCAD 3D has the complete specifications of all the Hydrocam H1 and H2 units available, including Ready Technology's other products. These images can be dropped directly into your CAD programs. To download the Hydrocam catalog and obtain ReadyCAD 3D, please visit our website. The simplicity and versatility of Hydrocam is how you will benefit most of all in your productions. From bleeding the system to maintenance, our end users often are amazed of how simple the system is to use. The most important information that the engineers at Ready Technology required is that the installation worksheet located on the back page of the Hydrocam catalog is completed completely and accurately. Our engineers use this information to double check and make sure that the requested Hydrocam system is correct for your applications. Our intent for you is for you to be able to use Hydrocam right out of the box. Upon selecting the correct H2 piercing or forming unit, our engineers have these recommendations. For example, not to exceed 90% of the H2 unit's rated force because the punch is going to dull, requiring additional tonnage. Be sure of your material types. Hardness in material is not uniform or perfect. It is recommended that you allow yourself some working room when figuring the tonnage of force required for your application. If your calculations place you at the borderline of the maximum of a unit, go to a larger unit. The mounting locations of the H2 units is only limited by your imagination or design. It is recommended that the H1 pump be mounted higher than the H2 unit. This makes the system easier to bleed. For applications that require the H2 unit to be higher than the H1, please consult with your representative. When mounting the H2 unit, remember it is designed to provide force, not guidance. Also keep in mind that the ports on the H1 and H2 units can be customized to other locations on the body of the units to best suit your application. For applications that require custom port locations, please consult with your representative. When selecting the correct H1 pump, refer to the pump selection chart in the Hydrocam catalog. This chart will give you information, for example, how many H2 units of a certain size can a particular H1 pump drive. The volume of the H1 unit will determine the correct model needed. The H1 pump was designed to be able to drive up to 4 identical H2 units. Selecting the mounting location for the H1 pump is very flexible, including customizing the H1 body to have the ports designed in the bottom of the unit. Make sure clearance has been accounted for the hydraulic hoses and the nitrogen hose if you are using the optional control panel. If the timing of the H2 unit's piston rod extension, dwell, and retraction is needed, this is a special option that our engineers need to consult with your designers. Working one-on-one and sending a design file and explaining the function of the production can assure the proper design of the Hydrocam system. The H1 pump's piston rod travel is critical to the successful operation of the Hydrocam system. Calculations of this travel must be accurate to assure that the H1 pump is not overstroked. In most applications, charging the nose of the H2 unit with nitrogen is all that is required. The optional nitrogen surge tank system can be used in higher speed runs to help the H2 units run cooler and to help reduce high pressure rise. Also, if you want to monitor the pressure in the H2 unit, the nitrogen control panel system can be useful. Connecting the H1 pump to the H2 unit or units is as easy as connecting a hydraulic hose to the units. If connecting an H2 unit to the optional return control panel, connecting the nitrogen hose. We offer a complete line of fittings to allow the most flexibility and to help reduce the number of fittings possible. Upon arrival, the length of the hoses have been customized for your application. Having too long or too short of hose can cause issues. Looking at the illustrations, when pressure is applied and the diameter of the hose increases, it causes the hose length to shorten. This can lead to stress on the fittings. The hydraulic hose from the H1 unit to the H2 unit should never have a high point to potentially trap air. Since hydraulic fluid can travel only so fast within the hose, having too long a hose can cause issues too. Hydrocam is designed to be able to have the two units placed up to 6 feet or 2 meters apart. With position of the H2 unit compared to the H1 unit, the H2 piercing form unit's vent plug should be a minimum of 2 millimeters below the oil supply port of the H1 pump unit. This is to aid in the bleeding process. We understand that some applications will exceed this guide, and we recommend contacting your representative. Again, we will address the importance of filling out the worksheet for Hydrocam on the back page of the catalog. This information is cross-checked by our engineer to ensure the proper Hydrocam units are issued for your application. On the selection criteria, be sure to fill in what type of material is to be formed and its thickness for required tonnage needed. Fill in the tensile strength of the material in decanewtons per square millimeter or PSI. Also other information, for example if it is partially heat treated. Document how much stripping force will be needed to pull the punch out of the part. The nitrogen return system in the H2 unit is not intended for stripping force. When doing punch operations, you will have to provide your own stripping force method in your tool. Since there is a maximum velocity the oil can travel within the system, press strokes per minute, travel of the ram and cam needed to be noted. For faster and stronger stroke presses, larger ports and hoses may need to be designed in the Hydrocam system to accommodate faster production rates. The proximity of the H1 pump to the H2 unit or units is intended to be kept within 6 feet or 2 meters. Contact your representative if your design goes beyond those limits. Ready Technology has an extensive line of fittings. Note any special fittings that will be needed. If the H2 cam unit is intended for forming, describe the form and forward details such as drawings to our engineers. If the H2 unit is going to be piercing, note the diameter, shape, and if there is a rooftop point on the punch. We may be able to make recommendations to help lower tonnage and be able to use a smaller system to fit better in the tool. The shape and size of the punch will decide on how much stripping force you will need. Document the method used and if it will be used for all the holes. The stroke of the H2 unit is very important. The shorter the unit, the more rigid and less deflection will occur when punching or forming. Fill in the stroke lengths for the corresponding H2 units. Will you want a standard front plate for punch or form orientation, or direct punch mount for round punches? If you will be using the optional nitrogen return control panel for the H2 unit, the position of where it can be placed is very flexible, preferably where it can be seen by the operator. Note the hose length and any special fittings that will be needed. Forward the worksheet to Ready Technology and prepare for the versatility of Hydrocam.